What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are jumping into Devil's Reign. This is a brand new 6-part miniseries. A brand new Marvel event hitting New York City, and this will be following in the aftermath of the Daredevil comics. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with that, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been happening with Daredevil up to this point. There is one issue that we have not covered yet, is the issue number 36 that came out last week. We will be getting to that, but really, a lot of that information is going to be covered in this comic. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this new Marvel event, we are picking up in the Mediterranean Sea 2 weeks ago, and we have Mr. and Mrs. Stromwyn. Two individuals that you could consider the elites. The individuals who pick the figureheads that are in control. And right now, out on their yacht, they are currently discussing if they want to keep Mayor Fisk in power. Now, one of the reasons that they put Mayor Fisk in charge, the reason that they allowed him to run and be mayor, is because they really wanted to see what he was going to do. More or less, this is a game to them just to see what will happen. What will happen when you put a gangster, one like Fisk, into power? But they have to ask themselves, is there a more interesting play that could be had? With the election soon coming up, there is a very good chance that he might have someone running opposed to him. Now that's what's going to take us to New York City 1 week ago. And so this is shortly after Mayor Fisk had just gotten married to Mary. And in issue 36 of Daredevil, we really see Daredevil go up to Mayor Fisk and tell him that he's happy for him. He's happy that he found some kind of happiness. And while Daredevil, he's not 100% sure that this is going to be real, that Mayor Fisk is going to be on the straight and narrow, he has a feeling that something deeper is going to happen. But he told Mayor Fisk that if anything, he has never tried letting go of the anger against Fisk. They have always been in each other's throats, and he would like to try just for once to just leave each other alone and let them live happy lives. The only thing about that is Mayor Fisk cannot let this go because he has a folder. He's got tons of information hidden away at a cabin. One of those folders, it was supposed to hold the identity to who Daredevil is. The only issue with that, every page drew up blank. There was no information, and Mayor Fisk has no memory of who he is. And this drives Mayor Fisk absolutely insane. Having this file, he knows that at one point in time, he must have had this information. Believing that Daredevil did something to his mind, somehow made him forget. This, in a way, reignites all of his anger towards Daredevil. Hell-bent on trying to figure out who he is. What comes next is going to be his first chess move. And that's what picks us up with present day. And we have Wilson Fisk giving a speech to all of the people, with news cameras, news outlets from all around. Everyone is listening to his new declaration. And what Mayor Fisk is doing in New York City is he is laying down some new laws, telling the people that superheroes have not been held accountable, that whenever superheroes get into a fight, there is always destruction, that it is because of the superheroes that we constantly are having attacks. And so he wants to put into effect the Powers Act. And so to those that all have abilities, he lets them know, effective immediately, any individual who exhibits a use of powers deemed superhuman or commits acts of destruction or vigilantism, they are going to be charged as a threat. And what we are seeing is Civil War 2.0, at least for the city of New York City. What this really is a declaration of war against any mass vigilante superhero that is living in New York City. And the news outlets, they go crazy. The Powers Act is all over media, with Tony Stark coming out and saying that Fisk is nothing more than a gangster, that they have been down this road before, with superheroes serving a purpose and saving New Yorkers and the Earth time and time again. This is a desperate ploy, and it's all because he is in an election year. But to go along with this Powers Act, he has created what he calls the Thunderbolt units. And what it looks like is we are getting a return of the Thunderbolts. Now this team is made up of both villains and regular human beings. A team designed specifically to hunt down superhumans and vigilantes alike. This news is so public that even Storm chimes in, letting them know that Krakoa and all mutants, they have amnesty. They have diplomatic immunity. And so if Mayor Fisk wants to mess with any of the mutants, it is going to come with huge and significant consequences. But we have our first wave of arrests starting to begin. And that starts with them trying to capture Moon Knight, with him patrolling his neighborhood, keeping his community safe from what lurks in the dark. We see US agents and the Thunderbolts come descending down on him. And Moon Knight always loves a freaking challenge. And so while he battles it out, we have Spider-Man who is going in and rescuing some people from a burning building. In doing this, when he comes out, we have the Thunderbolt unit coming on top of them, letting them know that they are under arrest because they have demonstrated power. And this is where Captain America steps in, lets them know you're not doing that. And if you decide you want to do that, you're gonna have to go through me. And so we are seeing the Civil War 2.0 really starting to set in. With Captain America going down this road before, he is not playing this game again and he starts cracking some skulls. But our young fill-in Spider-Man and Captain America, they are not alone in this, because this is where we see our other Spider-Man, as well as Daredevil and Elektra come in and start kicking some butt. Now recognizing that the entire city is collapsing on top of them, they have to get out of here, they have to get to a hiding place, regroup, and figure out what their next course of action is. And so that leads them down into the sewers. And as they get down here, Daredevil, he really does feel responsible for everything that is happening right now, because he got the Purple Man, Kilgrave's children, to alter the memories, mess with the mind of Wilson Fisk. And in doing this, it has started to drive him crazy that he does not know the identity of Daredevil. That once he knows that at some point he had that identity, he knows that Daredevil did something, he just can't prove any of this yet. But Captain America lets him know that with Fisk in office, we all knew that this was a possibility. He is nothing more than a gangster. The previous Kingpin, it was inevitable for something to happen. This is his vendetta. And Captain America, not wanting to speak for everyone in the room, he is not going to stand idly by. He is not going to let a tyrant stop him from saving lives, telling Daredevil that if he were to turn himself into Fisk, it would not end any of this that is happening now. Now that is where we pick up with Sue Storm and Reed Richards. Our members of the Fantastic Four are now being greeted by Thunderbolts and NYPD, with federal agents as well. Now, Reed Richards, he tries to tell them that they have paperwork working with Homeland Security to do any of the operations and experiments that they are doing inside of this building. But before they can do anything, we see Doc Ock and his legs, his tentacles, throw on some power dampening on these two, because he is now one of the Thunderbolts. And what we are seeing is Wilson Fisk taking pretty much all of the villains of Spider-Man and throwing some lightning bolts on their chest and making them sheriffs. And so while they try to subdue these two, Sue Storm is able to get to the panel, able to warn Johnny and the Thing. With them hearing the code, they know exactly what to do. With Thunderbolt agents breaking down the door, they immediately start opening fire, almost hitting the kids. Now, of course, Ben is not okay with this. He does a little bit of clobbering, he grabs the two children, and he jumps out the window. And the four of them, they are able to make their escape, with Sue and Richard now in confinement. That is where we pick up with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. As they watch everything transpire, they're kind of relieved because they don't keep their secret identities. They let everyone know who they are, and they are hoping because of this, it's gonna give them a little bit of leeway in what's going on. Now, as they watch on social media, As all of this stuff is unfolding, as people are getting arrested, we see a vehicle accident. Luke Cage jumps into action, saving as many people as he can. This is where we see Shocker, now working as a Thunderbolt. He throws some dampeners to Luke Cage and tells him that he needs to put them on. Now, of course, Luke Cage, he crushes them in his hands and tells him that that is not going to happen. While they may have given him a badge, he is still nothing more than a thug. And so we see the fight break out. Jessica Jones taking on the Agents of Thunderbolt, and Luke Cage going against Shocker, taking his gloves and smashing them in his hands. And as the two of them beat the crap out of all of these guys, we have regular civilians that are recording every aspect of this fight. And being under recording, Luke Cage cannot help himself but let the people know that they meant no violence, that this is unlawful. What they are doing is absolutely wrong. Everyone is being played by Mayor Fisk. That this isn't simply about superheroes, this is all about control. And Luke Cage, he lets everyone know that if he sees a New Yorker in trouble, he is going to do the right thing and he is going to help them. And if Mayor Fisk wants to try and stop him, he knows where to find him. Now, picking up with Mayor Fisk in our brand new Kingpin, Butch, the son of Mayor Fisk. Now, in issue number 36 of Daredevil, we see how Butch becomes the new Kingpin. More or less, he takes out the competition. Something he said that he probably was never gonna do, but at the end of the day, he felt like he had no other option but to take her off the table. And so now he is in command, and Mayor Fisk has come to let him know that this new act, this powers act that he is putting into place, he's doing it to help Butch out, saying that to run as Kingpin, to do this operation without superheroes, is going to be hugely beneficial for him. It is going to make his life tremendously easier. Now, of course, Butch does not give a crap. Tells him that it's not for him. He knows that his intentions, whatever they are ill. With him being extremely angry towards him, telling him to get out of his office, Fisk lets him know that one day, eventually, he is going to realize that this was all for his benefit. And that's where we see Mike come out of the closet. The guy who has been more or less filling in for Matt Murdock this entire time. While Matt Murdock has been in prison, with him just recently getting out, we see a little bit of a meetup between the two of them in issue 36. Because of the company he is keeping, because he has been so close to Butch this entire time. And he really just lets Butch know that at the end of the day, what Fisk did might actually be beneficial moving forward. While he knows he's not happy with Fisk and so on and so forth, you have to admire the effort that he put in doing this Powers Act and all of the people that it is going to anger in the end. Worst case scenario, they might just come for Fisk. More than anything, they just want to make sure that Fisk wins this election, because this guy, he hungers for power, and if he loses that election, he might come to be Kingpin again. Now, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, after everything that Luke Cage said, Jessica is freaking out. They are packing everything. They are getting ready to get out of the city, assuming that Mayor Fisk is going to be sending these Thunderbolt units after him. Jessica can't believe how stupid Luke Cage was to do that, to taunt them. And so they pack their bags very quickly. They go to try and get out of here, only to be met by Tony Stark. And Tony lets them know that they have to stop Fisk. Now, they can't simply go kick down the door and try to arrest him to try to do the superhero thing. They have to do this through the political avenues. And so Tony Stark, he lets them know that he is going to take down Mayor Fisk by running for office. Tony Stark is running for mayor of New York City. Now, with them having access to the Fantastic Four lab, this is where they bring in the Purple Man. Now, the Purple Man, he taunts him, telling Fisk, "Let me out of this cage. I should have known that you had something to do with all of this." Trying to figure out what his intention is. More than anything, the Purple Man, he just wants to rip Fisk's head clean the freak off. But he really wants the Purple Man to work with him, because his biggest strength has always been all of the secrets that he has kept. And all of those secrets, he is now using that because he is in the end game. But the funny thing about his file is that there is nothing to use against him. His children want him dead. He has no one that loves him. He has absolutely nothing. And we see the door opened up and he lets him out. Letting him out, we see Fisk grab him by the neck holding a knife. Now the Purple Man, he did everything he can to try to get Fisk to kill himself. He was unable to do this. The power's not working on Fisk, with Fisk telling him that his gift has been squandered and that perhaps someone else may be worthy enough to possess that gift to make a better world. And we see Fisk's face splattered with the blood of the Purple Man. And simultaneously, we are seeing that Fisk is running for President of the United States. Because this is the end game for Fisk. He wants absolute power over America. And that will be the end of this issue. So man, there is a lot to unpack in this. Really, we're getting a Civil War 2.0. Like I've said a few times throughout this, that's exactly what is happening here. Mayor Fisk is putting down the Powers Act. He is making it to where vigilantism and superheroism is not allowed inside of New York City. And he is implementing this using the villains of New York City, using the Thunderbolt units. And this has all been building up through the Daredevil line. I might even say it was inevitable that he was eventually going to run for president. Becoming Mayor Fisk, getting that power as mayor, having the ability to control if there's vigilantes in your city, trying to cast out superheroes, this power has gone to his head, and he wants more and more of it. And that's one reason that he is so bothered by Daredevil and not knowing his identity, because that is the power that he truly wields, is all the people's secrets. And if he doesn't have these secrets, he doesn't have the power. If he becomes president, he will be privy to some of the greatest secrets in American history. It is a little bit repetitive that they use this, the Powers Act, this Civil War aspect of things. Now, this isn't necessarily a civil war because most of our superheroes, they're on the right side of this fight. And it's usually just villains that they're going to be going against. It's those that are going to be working underneath Fisk. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.